This is the Parks Commission, April meeting, and we're gonna do a roll call.
Diana Wallace.
Sean Downing.
Melissa Morrow,
Rhett Bennett.
Mary Elizabeth Cofer.
Victoria Johnson.
great. I think Lori's coming, so, we'll just have fun for the next 5 minutes. Rhett is, brand new to our, committee, so if everybody would tell how long you've lived in Rollingwood, dog, children's, and favorite thing that you do in the park.
Okay. Well, it looks like I'm starting out first.
Yes.
I've lived in Rollingwood since before I was born.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
My mom was pregnant with me when I was just telling Ronald we lived in that house.
Uh-huh. Oh my
And
gosh.
not that house, but that piece of property. And we did that. My favorite part of living in Rollingwood is always been the community, the people, the grass, the trees, the hills, the deer, all of it. It's all community, and that's my favorite thing. I have a dog. I have an 85-pound Mastiff mix that thinks she's a lap dog. Which can compromise breathing somewhat when you're sitting in a recliner with the dog in your lap. I just love it here. And what I love about the park is the community, the comradeship, the beautiful green landscape that we've got now, and the people that are there. It's always the people and the dogs and the critters. And that's that.
Nice. So you remember it before we even had any organized parking?
No, that was where we put our bicycles.
Okay.
That was it, the whole thing.
All right.
My name is Sean Downing. I've lived in Rollingwood since 2022. I have 3 children and a dog, and my favorite part about the park is letting my 5 and 6-year-old go play unsupervised to help them foster a sense of independence without overly involved parents in a safe place.
Nice.
I could see them with binoculars. It's not that.
You live close.
Sorry, I'll go.
Okay.
Melissa Morrow. I've lived here 28 years. My children can say that they were conceived here. So, and my favorite thing about the park, well, really, I have to say 3, because I work out in the morning with a women's group in the park, and then I come sometimes with my 3 dogs, and then my 3 children have done sports. All different sports out there, whether it's flag football, soccer, softball, baseball. So I'm a park super user.
Excellent. Rhett Bennett. I've been here about 25 years. Let's see, 1 son. He's off in college now. And, favorite part about the park's kind of changed over the years. When I had a toddler, I loved going to the park, the lower park. Spent a lot of time at the lower park. Loved the Easter egg hunts and all the different activities that would happen there. And then, later in the years, definitely appreciate being able to take our dog. We have a German short-hair pointer, and she loves to run around in the dog park. Usually take her to Zilker. She likes to run a little bigger than what we can offer here. I think that covers it.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm Mary Elizabeth Cofer, and I've lived here for, 30, almost 40 years, 30, since 89. And my husband was actually born on North Peak Road, so we've got a lot of, it's home. I think my favorite thing about Rollingwood is being able to walk out my door and run into somebody I know, and it's always home, wherever you are in the neighborhood. And my favorite thing about the park, I should say Butterfly Garden, since that was what I built, but it isn't. It's the trail. I love the trail. I just love it.
Yeah.
And I don't use the dog park that often, but when I even go past it and I see all the people there with their dogs, I always stop and talk to the people, even if I don't go in there for very long, just because it's just fun seeing everybody. And I think that's where I really started my friendship with Diana, was seeing her there all the time. It was at the dog park. So anyway, that's it.
Nice.
Let's see, we moved in 2007.
But who are you?
Just roll call not count. I'm Victoria Johnson. We moved in 2007. I had some boys play baseball down here, some of the boys. Then we moved to a different league when they got older. We also have had dogs, so we used the dog park. I didn't know it was a small city of its own when we moved in, and then realized I'd quickly gone back to my roots, which I didn't plan to do. But anyway, here we are.
And we have another Parks member joined us.
Laurie Mills. I've been here almost 25 years. I'm guessing
Oh.
we're saying what our favorite.
Yeah, and just
Park
kids,
is, or
dogs,
TV?
and what you love about the
Oh.
park.
I have 2 kids, an 18 and a 21-year-old. We spent almost every single morning at the lower part up until they were probably 7 or 8. So the lower park is very special to those kids' memories growing up. Also the fields where they used to play, do kites and all the things. But yeah, we love the park. It's an important part of the community.
Great. Well, I wanted to, well, first we'll get an approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. All right, we passed the minutes. Western Hills Little League. Oh, I see Steve is online. Is he? Yeah. Steve, do you have anything to share about Western Hills Little League or the girls softball?
Yeah, thanks for can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, thanks for having me. We're mid-season. We've got about a month left, and then potential all-stars. I think Little League usually has some all-star teams. We softball actually might have an all-star team for the first time in 3 or 4 years. So we're excited about that. We're trying to get the numbers. But other than that, everything's going well, other than, dealing with weather stuff. So I know it's great for the grass and everything, but we're walking on eggshells of whether the games happen and all that. So that's really the only things we're dealing with. So
Great. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Western Hills Athletic Club, they actually have their meeting. They have now set it for the exact same time that we are. So we'll be getting their minutes a month late. But they did say that they think the deck, which was supposed to be finished last week because of weather, et cetera, should be finished by this Friday. Again, as long as weather goes well. And I know I'm gonna mess this up, but I think that they said they hope the entire construction will be done sometime in May. Again, dependent on weather.
Can I ask a question about that? We discussed perimeter fencing and potential trees that, for privacy, that have gone away in the front that either died or, because there's neighbors across the street, or even when I'm walking down with the bus every day, you can see the people swimming and whatnot. Is that going to be something we're discussing with them, or is that something they're running with? I would like to understand that at some point. If
That
there's
is-
been any progress.
Yeah, we haven't done anything together, but they are very open to having whatever the fencing be similar all the way around. Because I think right now they have a mixture of black wrought iron and cyclone fencing. And so, but they do want to do something new. I don't think they've chosen what it's going to be yet. So if we want to make a subcommittee that might work with them on aesthetics with that, I'm happy to. Sean, you want to be?
Sure, I just assume that they're going to do a good job, but if they need parks input, then happy to help.
Great, all right.
I'd love to see the dumpster moved.
Oh, yeah. It's on their list. They know we've said it has to go. And
we might
every time I
wanna-
tell them that, they go, okay. So, just a reminder out there.
Wait,
Um,
you mean we could use that for parking?
Oh, we are going to. It's in our new parking plan.
Yay.
So they know that they need to move the dumpster.
Okay.
They haven't felt rushed because of all the construction going on, et cetera, but, that is in the works to be moved. Okay, discussion, update, and possible action regarding the Rollingwood Park Design Group. One thing that I wanna do real quick, and so I promise to only take maybe a minute or two, but because Rhett is new to our, Parks Commission, and I know the rest of y'all know this, and so jump in if I miss something, but I'm gonna try and get him up to speed in 2 minutes in the public record. So, basically, about 3 years ago, the Parks Commission spent several meetings looking for common ground, listing and identifying all possible projects. And then we spent, a meeting discussing how to prioritize 3 to 5 projects. From there, we broke into smaller committees to discuss and research those projects. This included the new retaining wall, which has been installed, the adjacent playground area border and sitting area, which has also been completed. And then we spent a great deal of time talking about the walking trail and trying to make it look better. We did actually go all the way down the road and got some bids on what it would be like to actually take it out and reinstall it. It was, I can't remember, like $250,000 to $500,000, and we decided maybe that wasn't something we felt warranted that kind of investment. So the next thing that we basically approved was some trees. Now, again, you would think that it was gonna be so simple. We even got RCDC to agree, they're gonna fund the trees. We decided we wanted trees. When we started doing some designs on where the trees were, we got some awesome help from Alex Robinette, who started kind of jumping in and helping give us some really pretty design pictures and ideas of what we really could do, playing off of that theme that we have completed with the retaining wall and the playground area, and really making it more beautiful. And so we started right before that. The next project that we looked at was improving the parking area. The parking area has been unorganized for Diana can attest, a long time. And so we wanted to see if we could gain back some of the parking area by making organized parking that was well designed and thought out, so that we could actually accommodate more cars than we have in our current unorganized parking in the areas that are basically south and east of the ball fields, and take the parking area that's north of the ball fields and turn that into some green space. When we started looking at that, and went, again, step back for a second, the Parks Commission does not really have money. We have a small budget that's really based on maintenance, and so we don't have money for capital improvement projects. Any capital improvement projects that we want to do, we need to go to RCDC or council, or utilize the Friends of Rollingwood fundraising opportunities to fund. So in this case, we knew we couldn't suddenly just, parking lots are not the most fun thing to go fundraise for, and so that wasn't an area that we thought would be successful. So we decided to move with RCDC and council. And when we went to RCDC, what ended up coming out of that was that they said, well, if you're gonna do that parking area and you're gonna create an extra green space back there, is there an opportunity here for us to address some of the other things in the master plan that was adopted 10, 11 years ago? And one of the items in that master plan was to create a great lawn, so have more green space, definitely maintain the walking trails, even expand the walking trails if possible, and create an off-leash area that was separate from the field area. We had, this is basically going back to last October, we had a kind of I'd say a groundswell of neighbors who came and expressed their desire for those to separate the sports fields and the off-leash area, which right now are shared on fields 3, 4, and 5. And so while we moved forward wonderfully with Kurt, our landscape designer, on coming up with some designs for the parking lot, we started looking at what would it look like if we either made that other parking lot into a part-time parking lot, or could we just have it be green space? I believe where we have sort of settled is we would like that to be a green space. And now where we are is basically that Kurt has designed 3 different possible off-leash area options. That's what is in your, I believe it's in your packet today. Those off-leash options have had several iterations. I went back and looked at the agreement with Kurt. He agreed to do 3 designs. He's done at least 11 designs. He is really been very generous with our community and with his time and with his talent, really, to design and listen to what some of the feedback was. Where we are now on the 3 designs that we have, and I know y'all are probably confused because we're on the Rolling Park Design Group meeting. This is all to kind of get you up to speed. Part of this process, we decided to create a secondary group, what is called the Park Design Group, in order to bring and try to facilitate faster accomplishing of agreement and design options between council, RCDC, the funding mechanism, and council, who ultimately has to approve it and fund it, or fund it through RCDC. So that was my fastest version of where we are today. What our design group talked about last week was that we looked at the 3 designs, and what you'll see that's in common in the 3 designs is that all 3 of them have the trail, maintaining the trail at its longest length on the outside. And I don't know if you want to, we don't have to bring them up right now, but because you guys all have it in front of you. But, and the main difference between the 3 that we have is the size. So we have a 0.5, a 0.55, and a 0.6. That does impact where it comes into the fields 3, 4, and 5 and how those would look. We did do an iteration that had some off-leash area or additional park space outside of that field, kind of down in the ravine that's behind it, both from feedback of our neighbors and from costs, et cetera. We've sort of eliminated adding that in because it would be very difficult to build on. And let's see what else. We also last time eliminated, there was a trail, an extra trail in some of the versions between the ball fields and the off-leash area. We did away with that trail and just said we'll let that happen naturally. And we also moved the trees. We had some trees that were gonna be between the off-leash area and the ball fields, and we have removed those. Both of those could be added in the future, but again, to simplify, reduce costs, kind of make this as easy as possible, that's sort of what we had. And then right towards the very end of our meeting with the Park Design Group, Victoria actually had a brilliant suggestion, because one of the reasons why we have sort of stopped on moving forward with the parking lot area is because when we talked to Rob, tell me his last name. Dial. He is the person who's been doing project management for the city on streets and on some water projects. He was able to give us some cost estimates, which I think also is in your packet, about the different choices that we had. And one of the things that he said is if we were going to come and do excavation of that back area and then basically resod it, that there would be some real benefits, both in terms of physically not bringing heavy equipment back through the brand new parking lot, but also just in mobilization, that we might have some cost savings that would happen with mobilization. And going back to Victoria's brilliant insight, which was we could, without having to agree on a size of a off-leash area, or whether we were gonna have one or not, or separate those out, we could move forward with the parking lot, which is basically the same regardless of the size of that off-leash area, with putting sod down in that, basically excavating it out, doing the big heavy lifting and going ahead and excavating it out and putting new soil and a sod down. And if we weren't able to, in a timely manner, come to a consensus about a size or what the off-leash area would look like, that we could at least improve the park and really add to the park with some green space, without having to change our mind about whether we adjust the ball field sizes or fences and all that. So it would be maintaining the steady state in terms of the 3, 4, and 5 would remain as an off-leash area shared with the ball fields, and the other place would just be added green space. And so we could, anyway, so today, here's what I think we're gonna have discussion. This will be sort of my last thing to say. Not a lot of people can show up at noon on a Tuesday. And we know that we want to get more public input and we want everyone to feel like they've been part of this process. We've had a ton of input already at all of the many meetings that we've had, and we've had a lot of discussion. But I think ultimately it's going to have to go to council. They're gonna have to make a decision about it. So today, we don't have to make a recommendation to council. But in my mind, the sort of recommendations that would be possible would be do nothing, that's always allowed. Recommend that we tell the council we would be in favor of them considering and getting bids for A, B, or C, or just A, or just B, or just C, or B and C, or A and B, or A and C. So basically you have all these options that could go forward, and then that would allow the council to really have one public hearing where everyone could speak about the pros and cons of the 4 different options.
I have one thing to say about that. First of all, is it really gonna come down to money when they choose? When they choose which size, do you think that they would choose 0.5 over 0.6 because of money? I kinda doubt that.
Probably a factor.
Cost difference between those options.
Okay,
So-
let's let Parks.
So I just kinda don't think that it's going to be a deciding factor, is that money. I just don't think it is. So I'd like us just to go ahead and make a recommendation to council. And I know this is just April, but one thing you left out of that time frame when we started this discussion 3 years ago was when we talked about trees. And Mas Verde was giving us proposals then, 3 years ago. I know this is just April, but I'd like to get this plan moving, because this is going to be yet another winter where we don't get trees in the ground. So I'd like us to move. Let's make a recommendation to city council and get them to decide.
I'd like to clarify something.
Yeah,
too.
sorry.
When I made the comment about including, we were talking about the parking. When
Yeah.
I made the comment
That's true.
about including this back area, and what I was suggesting, because the debate at that time was, do we do these projects together or separately, the
Mhm,
parking
yeah.
and the park? And the thought had been floated that we could do the parking separate from having made a final decision on the park. So my thought was, well, if we all agree that we want extra parkland, then we could include that piece of excavation and leveling or whatever needs to happen in order to incorporate that into the park in the parking lot bid, so that then we give the council, we could send the parking lot on up to council with that option.
Mhm.
Because I think we're gonna have to send them options. I don't think we can send them a definitive plan, because the people that need to speak to this are probably planning to come to the council meeting.
Mhm.
So, and I have a lot of questions too that I think the council would need to know still exist if all those people are gonna show up there.
Mhm.
But that suggestion was more in conjunction with parking, because that would be one way to go ahead and expedite
Mhm.
that work. And that's where I see the costs coming in. I don't see the costs being so much associated with how we actually subdivide the park or whatever. And we need a lot more information for that, in my opinion.
I'm in agreement with Victoria that I don't think it's our job. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's our job to choose one and make a recommendation to council, because there's been a lot of scar tissue in the community over this issue over the last 7 years. We're not an elected body, we're appointed, and I feel like there's a lot of people that have, you know, whether it's the dog passion people or the Little League people, and what our job, as I see it, is to provide adequate plans that could be options for council to consider. Examples A, B, C, and then D of do nothing, and then the people can speak and they can eventually make a decision, versus us just sending one, which basically renders us the decision makers, which I don't know if that's our role.
Okay, and she had listed all these options. Choose one, choose all three, whatever. Let's just choose something. Let's move this forward, please. So, okay, that makes sense what you're saying. I'm fine with that. Let's just please move this forward.
Mm-hmm. Lori or Diana?
I think at the end of the day, council's gonna wanna look at more than one option. I think we have come to, with Kurt and Alex's help, we have come to 3 viable options, and I do think council will wanna see more than one, in my opinion.
Okay.
Question
Yeah,
for
okay.
Kurt, too.
Yeah, so, you've mentioned several times that you have lots of questions. Do you want to share some of those now? I do want to jump ahead for 1 second. I know I just asked you that and then I cut you off. One of the things that you'll notice in the bids, when we look at the parking lot, so actually, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and say that we are going to be talking about 5, 6, and 7, sort of all at the same time. If y'all are okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So, because they're all really intermixed. So, one of the ideas that we have is that when council, whatever they decide on, we are thinking they are going to want to get 3 different bids. So when cost comes, that's when cost will come and play more of which surface area we might talk about. One of the things we talked about at RCDC and at the park design meeting was that the all 3 designs, whether we use, and the biggest difference is, sorry to clarify, the biggest difference really is whether we do a gravel pave or which is the pervious grid-like structure, or we do concrete, or we do asphalt. And all 3 of those, Rob was able to walk Kurt through a little bit about the cost differences between those 3 different designs. There are some things that could or could not remain the same. I know Alex sent an email this week, but the things that would remain the same basically right now in those designs is the apron would be concrete and the handicapped areas would be concrete. The rest could either be the gridlock, the asphalt, or cement. Those all do have pretty significant cost differences, and the piece that is the new mystery that we're trying to solve now is we have sent back to the city staff is going to engage the engineer to tell us what TCEQ requirements would be required between those 3 different choices, because we think that there may be some drainage and other costs associated with or differentiated between pervious and impervious cover that's there. Generally speaking, in the Parks Commission has recommended and sort of wanted to have the gravel pave because it was pervious, easier for drainage, less disruption, and
Cohesive with the rest of the park.
cohesive, looks pretty. We could put the crushed granite DG in it so that it looks similar to the trail, and it has a more natural look to it than asphalt and concrete.
Good for the trees too.
Also really good for the trees. One of the things we did do in this whole process was we did have the Austin tree experts, the arborists, we met with them. And because we don't want to lose any of the trees, talking about planting trees that we do have right now.
And we do have a plan and a bid for that, to take care of the trees, make sure we're not damaging them in the process, and also help them to continue to thrive.
Right. So we're thinking that, and Kurt has finished the construction documents for that. And so that when we take it out to bid, it would be something where we would want them to tell us they could bid it with concrete, with asphalt, or with the gridlock. And so that might also give the council and RCDC a little bit more of a chance to decide. Now, roughly, and Kurt, you might jump up there, roughly, I believe the cost difference is just for the pieces that were, trying to remember where I have this. The biggest difference, yeah, so in the asphalt, if we were just talking about the asphalt part, not the rest of it, was going to run about 60,000. The gridlock, at least one of the bids, was around 160,000, and the concrete would be about 180,000. So concrete and asphalt's definitely the cheapest. Again, we're not getting into too much details about how to maintain them. The gridlock and the gravel pave both claim to have lifetime warranties, but there is some question as to, you know, it hasn't been used as long in some places. We can also get you a good list of all the places that you can go look at gravel pave or something like that if you wanted to see what it looks like in person. The rest of it, though, comes to, I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, the curb. So we have a concrete curb right now, ribbon, that's gonna go around the whole thing, the driveway. And then there is an under drainage that has been designed. And those things, and then, the excavation and haul off, that all came to about 220,000. So, anyway, that can kind of give you a ballpark about where we are with those dollar amounts. Again, it's more, so where we are now is, the staff has reached out to the engineer to find out what would be the differences, in terms of what hoops or what things might we have to do differently between those three different choices. If that makes sense.
We're not waiting on that to take this to council,
No.
right?
No, that's
All of
just
this
something
will be
we've
discussed
asked them.
tomorrow?
I don't know what is going to be discussed tomorrow. I think originally I was told that both, that they were gonna be talking about, the parking lot and the off-leash area. But what I see on the agenda that they adopted only has the off-leash area. I don't know how that changed, but, and that's up to the mayor and them to decide what's gonna be on the agenda.
Well, I would suggest that we make sure that both things are on the May council.
Yes. And I would
feel like right now, we could talk all this stuff and get all the bids and everything, but really if council hasn't bought into both of these things, we continue to spin our wheels. And we've spent a lot of time, money, energy, meetings, all the things, and I think we need, before we spend more time digging into the details,
Yeah.
them to buy off.
And then also you have to remember, we hadn't had this meeting yet, so it's hard for them to put us on the agenda. We could have talked this whole time and not come up with a suggestion, and then I would have, to me, it would have been great to have had it on the agenda for tomorrow, but
And I think if we go past May, then we're going to get into the objection of people are traveling
Right.
over the summer. So
Yeah.
if we don't get this, some sort of directive from council in the May meeting, I think we're, to Mary Elizabeth's point, we've then just lost another 3 or 4 months.
So, would love to, sorry, now I'm coming back to you, Victoria. If you have questions that you want to add in or have us talk about, I think now's a great time.
Well, I mean, Laurie's right, I'm a bit unclear because at the design meeting, we had a bunch of numbers we talked about, and I thought that those were gonna be put into, bid of some sort to go to RCDC, so RCDC could see it. I don't see that in their packet.
We did, I took it to RCDC yesterday. They
Okay.
did get the same sheet.
Do we have that?
Have I seen that sheet?
I don't see
Did
that.
it-
Has that been sent out?
It's in the packet.
Do you know where?
Page 23 of the PDF in the packet. All of this will be on the council.
It is in the council? Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, it's in the PDF, it's not on the,
It's not on the HTML links because
Oh, okay.
once we post the agenda and try adding stuff, it won't add.
oh, so
we
you have
can't
to
take
go
the agenda.
to the PDF to
Yeah.
see anything that's
Yeah.
added? That's good information.
Yeah.
Well, good, I'm glad it's put together. So RCDC got to see us, what you're telling me.
Yes,
Right.
they did.
Most of the questions I have are blanks that need to be filled in from information from how would Little League be incorporated into this? How is it gonna affect them? This is the park stuff. I've heard, you know, from people who have spoken to Little League that they love the idea of a new parking lot.
Yeah.
I hope that's true. It would be nice to hear them talk about how they can help us and keep that organized on game days.
Mm-hmm.
I also would like their input on the fields and making sure, I know it was assumed at one point that our restrictive covenant said 4 fields are fine, and we seem to be working off of that premise, but I'd like more understanding of if Little League isn't gonna come give us input, that we're not evaluating something if we reduce to 4 fields.
It doesn't, in the agreement with Western Hills Little League, it doesn't name the number of fields.
Well, to your point though,
Yeah.
I had the same in a different group discussion this week. I said the same thing. I was like, I do not feel comfortable moving forward with any of these plans without Western Hills saying what they need to be able to have their practices and games work.
I
and
agree.
work well. So I think Melissa sent it off to them, but we didn't get any feedback. So I think it really is gonna have to be an in-person meeting with them, cause I don't think they're gonna feel comfortable putting something in writing.
Will they
I
come
mean,
to
we've given
council?
them like 3 or 4 months to give us feedback. And we've been asking them very explicitly to give us feedback. We were getting nothing. So, I mean, at what point are we just being held hostage? Not literally, but you know, what I mean, like, hostage from lack of information, I guess. Is
Well, and that's one
to
of my
make it
questions too, you know, has that period of time elapsed where we just need to move forward, given that this is a municipal park, belongs to the city, and we wanna improve it? They've not, if we do everything that's proposed as far as, you know, a new irrigation system and support better sod, they're gonna have improvements that they've not ever had in their relationship with us.
And I think that's why you haven't heard from them. They like it.
Well, that would be great, but at the same time, if we do that, then we're gonna need to know that they are also gonna help us take care of them, because when I go up there and pick up trash on Monday morning, it makes me feel like they have no investment in it. So, you know, these are things that I see we need to either, if they're in the contract already, they need to be enforced. If they're not in the contract, we need to add them, things like maintenance, things like, you know, and I've been told that those things are in the contract, but there's just a few things that we need to address if we're gonna improve the park to the extent we're talking about, to make sure that all parties are involved, engaged, and feel listened to.
I totally agree with you, which is why I sat down with the schedule that they gave to the city for this year. And I think I alluded to it at our last meeting, and I basically broke it down. This is the largest sign-up Western Hills Little League has had in a long, long time. It's over 1,000 kids. Field 1, they scheduled 23 and a half hours a week. Field 2, 16 hours a week. That's girls softball, really. Field 3, 8 hours. That's girls softball also. Field 4, 13 hours, and Field 5, 11 hours. If you take that, they have 72 hours a week that are scheduled. The potential number of daylight hours in youth fields, just using the hours that they gave us, Monday through Friday gives you 15 hours, Saturday gives you 11 hours, Sunday gives you 7 hours. Weekends is 18 hours, basically weekly is 33 hours. So that's for one field. So 3 fields gives you 99 hours, which is way more than what, so they only need 72 hours. That's what they're using right now. So again, I'm with you. Like, if they're not going to come and tell us, I didn't want them to get short shrift just because they are so, and I get it. What I would say, they're all volunteers and they are in the middle of season. It is such a busy time for them. So I understand that it's hard for them. And I do appreciate that they also know, you know, this is a park, they don't want to make it hard for the city. But I think they struggle, anyone who's ever had a kid in Western Hills Little League, putting together their own schedules. And so it is, you know, it's a really tough thing that they're doing. But I believe that if we can get them more hours than they're currently using on 3 fields, then having 4 fields, which is 132 hours, is more than enough for what they have right now. Now, I will say girls softball only has 90 people playing, and they are more limited. There's fewer places for the girls softball to go play, so I'm a little more worried about them. I know the boys softball, ever since they did the artificial turf infields on Cesar Chavez, it has been much easier for them to put more games back to back because they're not having to rake them, reline them, all that stuff. And they don't have to worry about weather. I'm sure they've moved most of the games that were going to be here over there just because of rain. So all that to say, it's not, we should continue to ask them to participate and be here, but we're not doing this without thinking about them. And none of us want that to not have them here. I don't think there's any doubt that we would like to continue to have them here.
Well, the information you bring is really helpful from that standpoint, as long as you're comfortable speaking for it. I mean, you know.
I'm just, I can't speak for them. What I will say
But
is
your
that I
information
care
is
about
what
youth
we're going
sports,
off of,
and I
you know?
want them to, I want us to continue to support youth sports. But you also have to remember, this is, you know, 22 weeks of the year. The other, you know, 30, they are not here.
Which is why we really need to consider where our priorities are,
Yeah,
but also hear from them. I mean,
yeah.
you know, there is a lot of time that the field sits vacant.
Yeah.
So whatever we do needs to be, in my mind, keeping an eye toward how do we utilize the fields more often for the most people.
Yeah.
And just like everything, the Rollingwood community is not the majority of baseball. And it's also, there's a group of people that come with dogs that are not Rollingwood community. So we ferreting out what Rollingwood wants is, you know, kind of important. And I'm having trouble determining what I'm hearing, where the source of it. Is it Rollingwood I'm hearing from? Or is it, you know, West Austin? Not even Westlake.
Yep. Other thoughts about, is anybody feeling comfortable making a motion yet?
Yeah.
I would make a motion that we send these 3 proposals to city council to consider.
Well, 4, if
I
you
have a-
consider the parking lot,
Yeah, I would actually move to
I
send
would
the
like
parking lot.
everything
Oh,
to
send
go
the
to
parking
city
lot?
council. It's all a package deal. We talk
Okay.
about it as a package.
Okay.
I think all of it should go there. We should have a good understanding of where council stands.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you
And then
want
whatever information they need, we're happy to go get, but at least we know what direction to go instead of continuing down a path.
Well, I agree
Hard-
with
I
that
would-
because
And-
I just saw the heads of the 2 council members hang.
I would like,
Yeah, hold on one second. Let me finish letting them speak and then,
I would like to see included, like I'm all for like a send all 3 options so council can have a community conversation about it, but I would also like to send an option D, which has no separation, allows us to move forward with complete development of the parking lot, extension of the park and the green space, you know, take advantage of the economy of scale, and allow the parking lot to move forward. And this would also, and again, this would just be an option that council would have in front of them. Therefore, if they don't feel like they're in a position to choose A, B, or C, they can choose D. because the decision on when you put this other fence in and separate doesn't have to be made right away. There could be greater time for conversation. You might could even get to the point where you are, you know, once you have that expanded space, like how we use that space, you know, where the people with their dogs, how, you know, you could, like, is there a possibility, thinking from an agile development standpoint, that we actually move forward in a way where we actually never even have to add that fence, and we have even a larger green space without fences separating? Like, that's like, if that was to somehow work out, I would be even happier with that. That may not be a good solution in the end, but to leave that solution open and on the table and incrementally move toward a vision, I think it would at least be a nice option to give council for
I
conversation.
think like we've kind of moved past that.
Yeah,
I
do
mean,
too.
we were there years ago.
I don't know.
And I think council also knows they have that option.
Sean?
I agree that we were there, but at some point, when does it become better to leave it? I'm not saying it is, but if you are to say that, okay, at 0.6, so that Kevin might say, I have an obligation to my constituents because I said I'm not going to have a dog park less than 0.6 acres, which you said before. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not. I'm just saying, you said it before. And at 0.6, maybe the configuration of the baseball softball field is so awkward, because I do think it's kind of awkward, and it looks a little funky. Maybe Little League says, well, 400 fewer kids are going to get to play because of the removal of that field, and it's a really short porch. Maybe it's just better that they do coexist. I'm just saying that there is a world where
I'm sorry,
it's unfeasible.
I missed one sentence. Maybe it is better that what?
That they coexist.
Oh,
that
okay, that's the word
that
I
right
missed.
now that they
Yeah, I
continue, the dogs are there and the kids play, because maybe that is better than 400 fewer kids playing. I'm just using hypothetical,
Okay, so
but maybe the status quo.
so you're agreeing that there should possibly be a plan D?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
And maybe we should even say, because D was previously do nothing, so do nothing and then E.
Well, do nothing. But
This is
I'm not
A.
suggesting do nothing. I'm suggesting
No,
move
we were
forward.
saying do nothing is always an option. So.
No, I'm saying
just
move
leave one
forward with
fence
the
out.
parking
Yeah,
lot. And I like that making that back area green space. I think that's a fantastic idea regardless, but you're not separating 0.6, 0.5. I mean, I'm just saying, I like Brett's idea.
Then don't we get into the whole sprinkler thing? Isn't this the whole reason why we all started this, was because we need to invest in the sprinkler? Many people do not feel like it is a healthy environment for the kids to be playing on the same field as the dogs. And now we've just come full circle again, and so I am quite frustrated, because I feel like we've sort of forgotten how we got here.
My point is, at what point though are those people that have said, I don't want the kids playing in the same area of the dogs, but hundreds of fewer kids are going to get to play in this
We're
field,
trying to avoid
because-
that by getting their input.
but we're not getting their input, and maybe we can't avoid that. I'm not saying that's the right solution, but I'm saying we might not have a viable solution because we have finite green space. If we had unlimited green space, of course it would be an easy decision to separate.
So maybe sending the 4 options, A, B, C, or D, to council, and then let the people speak
That's
would
right.
be the answer.
That's all we're saying.
Then they get to speak, and we don't have to make that decision. It's not our place anyway. We're just supposed to make recommendations. So maybe that's the thing. Let the people speak.
Yeah.
At the risk of being redundant, I think it's absolutely essential that we leave it as it is. People are getting along and they're working out their problems, and that's good, versus leaping in from the frying pan into the fire and going, oh, we hadn't thought about these problems. Now we've got people parking and playing ball at the same time. Where are they gonna go? Now we've got kids at the same fence, which has been raised before. We've got problems we're dealing with now, and from my perspective at least, mostly successfully.
Well,
But I don't think we would be where we are right now if everybody felt like that. I don't think I'm not saying that that's not the majority of people, but there were a good number of people who felt differently, which is why we got to this point of separating the fields.
And that's why I
That's 'cause
think
it was never vetted properly. Now that it's vetted properly, maybe the answer is there is no better solution.
Well, I guess this is a decision for the council.
yeah, I agree, and let
I
them
agree.
speak at the council. I think that's perfect. Let them speak at the council. But if we do this, then do we send that, make a separate motion on that and then the parking? I mean,
It's really up, okay, so I know Kevin, you're dying to speak, and you will get a whole council meeting. Pretty good. But so
Now-
if you want to speak,
I'm trying to save you time.
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
no, that's fine. No,
Save
but
us
part of
time.
this is, it's really important for this group
I understand.
to
I
have
respect
talked
that.
about
You're
it.
the
Yeah,
chairman,
yeah.
you're the director,
No, no.
I'm running it, and like
No,
you
no.
said, I'm-
No, but, so now, I will give you 2 minutes.
Okay.
2 minutes, you have to go to the, thing,
the dais.
dais, thank you.
They had to tape my mouth shut in the 3rd grade, so the nuns at St. Monica's, so
All right.
made it hard when
Your
we
2
had
minutes
to
is starting
sing.
now.
I agree with everything everybody said about all these issues, and council has to decide that stuff, but you guys have done great work on it. The only thing I'd fill in is that my impression of what council's done on the parking lot issue is that we were kind of all unanimously in favor of moving forward with the parking lot issue, so we're already like assuming that that's going forward. The details will get worked out a little bit later. As far as like getting bids, really, that's going to be the project manager's job to do under the direction of the city administration. I don't think you guys have to worry about getting bids on different things and trying to administer contracts. And then as far as Little League goes, you know, I've had conversations with Jay Weintraub from Little League. I met with him. He's told me very directly and very clearly that they didn't want to get involved in this decision, that it's for Rollingwood. They appreciate being here, and they'll work with whatever we end up doing. At the same time, I know we want to be very considerate of them and keep inviting them to give input and be considerate of their use, because we do support their and want to encourage their presence. I did email Jay a couple days ago and sent him the agenda item, sent him the choices, said and invited him to respond. And I know that Kevin Shell has reached out to him and actually talked to him as well. Last thing I'd say is that what we wanted to do, we're all assuming the parking lot's going forward, but what we want to do is resolve the most contentious issue, which is, should we divide the fields? And if so, how are they going to be divided? And to have that decision get made at council. That's the one the public has the most strong feelings about. We want to give them input on it. We don't want to put a bunch of other details up for discussion and debate until we vote on that. We wanted to give them April to talk about it, and then May to vote on it, because like you said, Lori, we don't want to get into the summer. And we want to vote. If we're moving forward, we want to know so we can get the project manager going and get this thing contracted and built in the fall.
Thank you. And so,
Thank you.
to that answer, that really explains why the parking lot's not in there. They're all good to put that. It's more,
Okay.
are we doing an off-leash area or not? So, what I'd like to hear, did you want to say something?
Well, it's great that the parking lot's decided upon. I could see that the dog park conversation may take a little bit longer, especially if we're running up against summer. Which is why I think it's important, at council at least, to have the discussion about, do we wanna go ahead and add that back part excavation into the parking lot discussion, because we could still move forward even without an answer on the dog park, if that's included. Because that dog park piece could be answered in time if we have the space in which to do it. So that's
Yeah.
the only thing that I see, because otherwise things will stall again if we don't have that answer.
Kevin Shell.
Kevin Shell. I agree with everything Kevin said. I'll just add to the conversation about the parking lot. At the working group, I brought up all the drainage issues. Drainage issues are always a big deal for council. That's going to be a discussion. Our expert told us there's probably drainage issues included with the True Grid material that this body didn't know about when they recommended that. So it's not that we want to move forward with it. We got to figure out that. And council has shown time and time again they're not going to move quickly without having those answers.
Well, I agree.
We're not going to have those answers in
That's
Big
true, but
issue.
that doesn't affect whether we send something up to you guys,
I'm
that's
just-
not something
I-
we can have an effect on. I think that it's really important to address, do we wanna expand the park to, because that's not, if the dog decision hasn't been made, there may be people opposed to expanding that area, and that needs to be discussed.
I understand that. I'm saying that with the drainage answers, we'll have more pieces of the puzzle, which will help us with that as well. Because part of that drainage puzzle is that back parking lot considered compressed material or impervious or not pervious? And I want to make sure we don't lose something without our engineers telling us that. That has nothing to do with we have discussions to move forward or not move forward on this. And I think passing this up with all the options, we're going to talk about it whether we recommend it or not. So I think it's great if you do recommend.
Do we have a timeline for the city to get with the TC2 on the drainage requirements and the materials?
Staff's looking at it.
I know, that's why I was kind of looking at them and,
Oh.
and seeing if is that a month, is that
Yeah,
6
hold on.
weeks?
Yes, we have.
I imagine it's hard to get answers.
So last Thursday after y'all's design group, I sent an email over to our third-party engineer company, which is Lochner, which used to be K-Freeze. And Friday they responded saying that they're looking into it. I had a discussion today with one of the engineers over there, and she's going to be getting with our drainage engineer over there, and they're going to start
We're making
looking.
progress.
We are making
Great,
progress,
thank
and
you.
they are trying to get it to us as quick as possible.
Who
to
is
get y'all's-
who's the engineering group?
The engineering group is called Lochner.
Lochner, okay.
It
Thank
was K-Freeze for a long time, and
Right.
Karen sold her business.
They sold it and then they combined with another company.
Okay.
so.
Okay,
All
we're
right,
ready for
they're
a
on
motion.
it.
Good. Lori, you look really excited about it. Do you want to say it?
Well, I don't know if you have the words you want in this, but
We can work on it, but
Okay. I'm gonna make a motion that we send the working design plans for fields 3, 4, and 5 to council for their opinion.
how about this? A motion that we want the parking lot as designed. And 3,
Well, as designed, but with the caveat of TCEQ's input.
yes. But we're not gonna wait.
That's not our problem.
We don't have to worry. So we, are putting forth the parking lot design and the 3 plans, versions A, B, and C. A, B, and C, for council to,
Review and respond.
are you okay with including, A, B, C, and one that does not, we'll leave that as your motion.
Yeah, that's my motion.
That's your motion. Do we have an amendment that would include, the?
I will add an amendment that would include an option D, which would be to leave it as it is. To leave the fence line as it is. This,
But do the excavation and, soil and grass
yes,
in
absolutely.
the back part?
Yes.
Okay,
Can we?
and so
talk about
I
that?
need
Let's
to,
discuss
hold
a
on,
little
hold on,
more
just a
detail
just a
on
second. So, sorry, was there a second to Lori's motion?
Not yet.
Oh, well, I need a second to her motion,
Is
to discuss. Doesn't mean you're in favor of it.
second then,
Okay, and then we have an amendment. Do we have a second to the amendment?
second.
So we have a second to the amendment. So the way that this works is that you vote on the amendment first, and then if the amendment passes, then you add that to the motion, and then you vote on the motion with the amendment. If the amendment doesn't pass, then it goes away. Another amendment could come or not, and then we would just vote on the motion. So, right now, we're having discussion about the amendment. Cause we have a
The
motion, on an amendment and a second. So, is there any more discussion about the amendment?
What I would propose is that it's essentially, like, the only thing I see difference between A, B, and C is the separation fence. So what I would suggest that option D is everything but the separation fence
I think that's a
in
better-
totality.
That's a better way to put it.
That might be better word.
Yeah.
Okay,
I agree with that.
so we're amending the amendment.
Okay.
Well, and just, just language that we could go ahead and continue with the parking lot, including the excavation excavation of the back part.
Because you said the separating fence,
Mhm.
does that mean you intend there to be a fence
Yes.
in the backside? Okay,
Yes.
so
So the whole thing is contained, otherwise you couldn't have the dogs in there.
gotcha. Okay,
Totally.
okay, that's a really great clarification there.
Great.
So, does everybody understand what that was? Is that okay as our amendment? Okay, so, that amendment is basically that area with a fence, only removing the inner fence.
Right.
Okay, so all in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, so the amendment passes. So now we have a motion with the amendment, so it's the 3 versions plus the 4th version taking out the middle fence. Okay, any discussion there? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and no abstain, so all in favor. Okay, so, all right, dang, you guys, way to go. This has taken us a while. Thank you so
What
much.
meeting does that actually make it? May?
Well, tomorrow they can say that they're gonna talk about the off-leash area, and they can say that this is the recommendation that we made, but, they're not really
Look at it.
posted to decide on the parking lot materials or any of that other stuff.
But the drawings can go up to the meeting
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Mhm.
Great.
And I think they may already be in their packet. Yeah. Okay, gosh, I'm so excited that I feel like we should stop there, but,
I do have a time commitment.
okay, so, sorry, I'm trying to find my agenda, everyone has theirs, right?
Mosquitoes is next.
Okay, mosquitoes, do you wanna wait till next month, or you wanna go ahead and talk about it?
I don't care. We've done a lot. We can wait till next month.
Okay, of course, this
You've
is
been
mosquito
pushed a couple
season.
months, are you sure?
It has. I'm getting calls every week from providers, but I can
Oh,
handle it for
from the
another month.
providers.
Well, do you wanna take 5 minutes and just do it? I
Sure.
feel
Yeah,
like
sure.
you're
Go
doing
ahead,
yourself
I
every
can wait
month.
5
Okay,
minutes.
yeah.
Okay, some people from the community had asked that we consider a mosquito treatment for the lower park area. Kids get, eaten to death, and so I got quotes from, Bulwark and Justice Pest. I mean, I just got a couple of them, and they were included in one of the packets at some point. And it's just, I guess we don't need to vote on anything, but just have discussion whether that's something that we should consider or not. Alex Robinette objected pretty vehemently, saying that she doesn't like what's in the mosquito spray. I'm not a toxicology guy. I don't know. So it was more for a discussion as to whether this
She
is
has
something
some
we want to
sort of
explore.
contraption that she has put
Mhm.
forth in different communications, so I don't know if that's an option for some place as big as the park, but I don't really have a problem with mosquito stuff.
My problem is, I spent all this time building a pollinator garden, and this kind of goes against, trying to get insects there. There is no way this will not impact the pollinators. And even though this is the lower park and that's the upper park, it will impact them. In my experience with using these products, my sister lives on the Chesapeake, and a lot of her neighbors, they use these products around there. They quit seeing fireflies around there completely until those people quit using that product for 3 years. They just starting to see fireflies again. That was the most visible thing that people were able to see just because they light up. But I mean, it does impact other insects besides mosquitoes. I mean, I think we should look at other solutions besides a chemical treatment.
Melissa, what do they use at Way Up? Anything?
We don't. We
You
tell
know-
people to put it on. And actually, it's managing water, puddling water. It's really like getting on your sprinklers, because I will say that back park area, for my whole 25 years of working out back there, there's 2 different places where the
all
water pools. And I mean, we've had them look at the sprinkler systems, and that's really the problem.
I'm sorry, one more thing real quick. I'm getting ready to meet with Aztec Pest Control. They do, organic, pest control. I'm getting ready to meet with them about the mosquitoes in my yard. it may be that I'll have some more solutions at the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, these would be all organic solutions like, you know,
Yeah.
lemon and whatever, garlic, I don't know. whatever
Those
they
water
use.
bags they put
Uh,
hang out.
Those are for flies.
But are you saying that if it affects mosquitoes, it's going to affect pollinators such as like bees and
It depends on the
butterflies and such?
chemicals used.
Yeah.
A lemon won't. Lemon will not affect pollinators. But the
You can
chemicals,
dig in further
I would
and see
just
what
have,
happens.
whatever quotes you got, ask them how it affects the pollinators, and maybe we don't need more solutions, maybe we have one, we just don't know it.
Yeah.
and if you could get in writing what exactly the chemicals are and let us do some research on those chemicals.
I use Bulwark at home and they're safe for pets and kids, so I would imagine.
Yeah, but I
I
have some,
can't speak to that 'cause I don't use the mosquito stuff.
my neighbors raise bees, and what some neighbors use in their yards for the mosquitoes affects their bees. And if they had bees dying, so we all tried to, in a contiguous area, tried to quit using those chemicals.
We'll do Friends of Rollingwood Park next time. Cool.
We need
All
a
right, thank you
motion
guys.
to
Oh,
adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion that we
I'll
adjourn.
second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Kurt, thank you for being here today and not speaking.